Hello and welcome back to Cock Tower Time Tick 2023. My name is Big Scared. I'll be your host for the next couple runs, but more importantly than that, I'm here helping out on commentary for two of my favorite gamers. Would y'all like to introduce yourselves for this Heaven Dust race?
Sure, I am Astrid the Horror Girl, and yeah, I'm racing NBZ.
Hello, I'm NBZ, and I just noticed that Astrid's game says Z hot.
It's true.
Yeah, shout out to Z being hot and also Cock.
Yes.
Also cock. We
Also
cannot
cock.
leave cock out, yes.
All right. So since this is a race, let's do it the fair way. I'm gonna count you in from 5, at which point you should start. How's that sound?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good.
Alrighty, we're gonna start the race in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's jam!
So,
We type it.
here we are again, NBZ.
Here we are. Let's go. My practice run was pretty rough.
And it
Oh.
feels so good.
Mine too, Z. Mine too.
So previously on Heaven Dust, our contenders are here for a rematch. This is a
Yes.
hotly contested rivalry between Astrid and Z as to which one of them is truly more powerful, more dynamic, more heaven, and also less dust. I changed it up there. I hope you appreciate
I'm definitely more dust.
I don't know about that. So I started running this game because I really liked how I really wanted to get into survival horror gaming, like with a lot of people that run a lot of games that are on this in the Clock Tower stream team, like Silent Hills, Resident Evils, and stuff. I didn't really know where to start, and every time I asked someone, I got a different answer. So I'd already played this game, and I thought, well, let's go look at what the speedrun for this looked like. And it looked like a lot of fun. So I started picking it up, I played it, and ended up snagging a world record for it. And then shortly after, I made friends with NBZ, and then Z started running this, took the world record from me, then I took it back, then Z took it again, then I took it back, and then Z took it, and then someone took it from Z.
Yep. It was a big back and forth battle, and it was glorious and so much fun. And Astrid and I have become really good friends through it.
It's true. We are arch frenemies forever.
Yes. Forever.
Truly
With a 4.
the Joan Crawford and Betty Davis of speedrunning.
I was thinking about whatever happened to Baby Jane not too long ago.
And I want to reiterate for folks who may not be acquainted with this rivalry, this extends beyond the Glitchless New Game Plus category. Y'all also had the any percent record, which is a wild category given how precise that run is. We'll call it precise.
Precise is an interesting word for it. I like to think
Nice
that
and lucky.
it's full of just hatred and bile toward people that attempt to run it.
So for anybody that does not know, which is most of you, the any percent is only a little over 3 minutes long. And it requires us to get on top of the walls and run around on top of the walls, which requires us to use this door right here, which is a pain in the butt. And it is very rude, and we hate that door. That door is our nemesis.
Yeah, there's another door that is also used in that run, and that door is significantly nicer.
Yeah, I love that door. That's
Yeah.
my best bet.
Yeah, same.
But the tragic story about the good door is that we only get to see it if we successfully navigate the bad door.
It's
Yes.
true.
That being said, you might be wondering what's sort of going on here. Astrid and Z are essentially playing leapfrog with a valve handle and a battery across this map to open up various doors and pathways so that way they can enter codes in the right locations to eventually greet our final ending. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the story of Heaven Dust, we are playing as a person named Steve. Steve woke up here one day. He doesn't remember that he works here, but he does. He also doesn't really remember his name or anything about himself, and so that is slowly revealed in a casual playthrough. What you need to know is that we are here in a mansion/laboratory where there are scientific/biochemical experiments that involve viral research that is extremely temperature based. And when it is volatile, it creates zombies. There's more than one form of the virus, but its ultimate form is referred to as heaven dust, and we will be interacting with the heaven dust virus as this run sort of reaches its climax. So stay tuned for that.
Oh. I came to the part where Z once told me I never figured out how to do that one puzzle, had to look it up, and
Yep.
like, yeah, that little, I just passed by the clue that you're supposed to look at to be able to see it, and I just look at it just going, this game and its ambiguous clues.
Yes.
Now, here's the thing. So I've played this most of the way through casually, and both of you were in my chat like this puzzle. And when I got this was the puzzle I struggled with the least.
Really?
Yes, because the other puzzles are riddled with translation errors that
Yes.
make them hard to decipher. This one is simply match the pictographs on the wall to the things on the ground. Which, I don't know, my smooth brain understands that.
I only found half the pictographs. Where's the other half?
You know, they're crying and they're hiding. They're living their best life anywhere but here. They've got frames to save.
Yeah, my favorite translation errors is one of the ways that they tell you to find the dove in this game, the pigeon, is to look for the beautiful little darlings. And as you know, wonderful little darling, that means pigeon.
Yep, that's exactly what that means. Couldn't mean anything else.
Could not mean anything. There's quite a few. There's a couple notes that are trying to pull a For Itchy Tasty out of Resident Evil fame. Those are just a joy to encounter, and I'm not going to spoil them for you. I encourage you to go find them on your own. But this game really is a love letter to third-person traditional survival horror games like Resident Evil and Silent Hill. And that really shows in some of the ways that even the mistranslations play out. You get fun moments. But right now, we are taking a very complicated path because we have to interact with the little darling here. And so we need a couple items. We need a key out of a pocket in that laundry room at some point. We need a whistle to summon the pigeon. We need various keys and masks. We cannot forget the battery or the wheel along the way. So we got to make sure that we go back for those things along our route.
I used to have to worry about the wheel a lot more.
And then I ruined the game.
And then you ruined the game. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, there's a very long, awful section that is made a lot easier with the wheel. And I was like, hey, what would happen if we didn't use the wheel? Oh, look, it's faster, but awful.
Yeah.
I like how y'all want to imply that that section is playable without the wheel. I beg to differ.
It's playable on New Game Plus.
Yeah.
On
when you
New
have
Game
the wheel.
Plus, maybe, but if you're trying to prep for the speedrun, which, by the way, we are running Glitchless New Game Plus. The any percent is also done on New Game Plus. Is there just a New Game board?
There is.
It's probably
awful.
suffering.
Yeah.
But if you're just going in on New Game, you obviously have a severely underpowered weapon, and you don't have the ninja suit, which means that the enemies are much more aggressive. And so when they are in large groups, it is extremely dangerous. And there's a segment coming up at the end of the game where the wheel becomes important to circumvent a large crowd.
Yep.
Or does it?
Or does it?
Or does it?
Exactly.
Apparently doesn't.
And So the puzzle that we were referring to earlier that I had an okay time with, but the other folks did not, was that puzzle on the floor with the switches. In the shower room slash meat freezer, it's hard to articulate exactly what that space is.
Yeah.
There's a pattern of scratches on the wall that indicate which buttons need to be pressed. But you don't automatically get all of them. You do have to reveal a second portion of them. Of course, the solution doesn't change, so if you are doing the speedrun, you don't have to look that up every time. But it can be a little confusing to figure out. There's also the whistle for the pigeon in the same room, which I didn't realize was in there because, I wasn't looking for a little darling in there.
Gotta be on the lookout for little darlings. The thing really should have informed that to you.
Yes.
One thing I do want to note about the tech of this game, because I think it's one of the coolest things that makes it a great speed game, is something that you may notice about myself and Z is that we are trying to go in as straight of lines as we possibly can. And that is because the longer you go in a straight line, the faster you end up going. So we try to hold angles and let ourselves essentially run into some corners if we know that we'll eventually break out and through on another side. Because we want to go as fast as possible. So you want to course correct as few times as possible.
Mm-hmm. It really takes a cue out of Harry Mason's playbook from Silent Hill 1 in that our player here is momentum-based.
Yes.
Gotta maintain Steve velocity, exactly.
Real quick, while we're doing some running around gathering items and components for this vaccine/viral research, I want to remind y'all that we have a couple incentives open. We have met the 750-pound goal for Clock Tower Ghost Head, so thank you so much. We're going to get the monkey suit later. But also, I want to remind you that in just a couple runs, we are going to be having a showcase of No One Lives Under the Lighthouse by Tofu, and there is an ending choice incentive open. There are 3 options: the good ending, the bad ending, and then a special ending. So if you want to see Tofu become a beast, kill a beast, or find closure, you can influence that with your beloved donations to Safe in Our World.
On our way back to, well, I guess not back to, but first time to the laboratory to make a viral concoction, which is always a great idea in every video game that does it.
Yep. Never ends up going poorly.
The first thing is a door to insert the sort of virus into, and then when it scans you for the virus, it reads the sample that we mixed up earlier and just goes, yeah, you're good. Just go in. It's fine. But we, knowing the route, are not going to have to go through that door again, and therefore we can just take it right out later. But if you make the horrible mistake of trying to go through that door again, you're done. The run is dead. It's over. And I've had that before of just I'll just go back in this way, because the lapse of judgment of thinking that I should just be able to go back this way because I did it before.
So we spend quite a bit of time in the lab here, going back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah.
And so I mentioned earlier that we're doing some vaccine synthesis and also viral research. What Steve is doing is combining the various different strands of temperature-dependent viruses to eventually end up with the product we know and love as Heaven Dust. What he's going to do from there is release it to aggro some zombies in a specific area, and eventually it will start the self-destruct sequence, which is ultimately our goal here. The only way to escape this facility is for it to just be destructing and be in emergency mode. Along the way, we're also given the opportunity to get some blood out of Steve, which I want to point out to a casual player as an opportunity for you to secure an alternate ending. What you do with that is you take it back to your lovely darling. The carrier pigeon takes it off into the ether, and something happens. Do we know what happens? No, because none of us have seen that ending.
Yep.
Indeed.
But it exists, and so, dear listener, you can go find it if you are interested.
Oh, forgot to press the button.
So not only are they doing viral research, we're going to do some light demolition in here. As we can see, there is a stick of dynamite. We cannot stand too close to it.
Yes,
Stand
Z
close,
knows
but
that
not
now.
too close.
I do know that now. I tested it. Even after Asha told me exactly what would happen.
Yeah, a long time ago when Z first started running this game, Z was like, hey, do we know if the dynamite damages you? And I went, yeah, it instantly kills you if you stand too close. And then I was hanging out with Z, practicing for another marathon, and just stood next to it and went, oh yeah, it does kill you. And I went, Z, I told you that.
Sometimes you gotta learn on your own, okay?
Sometimes you hear it, and then you're like, I doubt. And so you do the science yourself, and it's just regret. I had a similar experience with a run for the chant. There's also dynamite, and I was like, that's not gonna hurt me. Instant kill. Instant kill. And so as you can see, we have gathered a bunch of masks. There are 6 masks total in the game. We only need 4 of them for this puzzle because there are 2 false leaf masks. Spoiler alert, they are the ones that are not number 1. Number 2 and number 3, we don't care about those. All the other masks are relevant for the puzzle, and then onward we go into the director's facility, the director's chambers, and the private research areas. We are also very soon going to be picking up a special item. It's a hand.
A whole hand.
It is.
Yeah, because sometimes you can't do it alone, and you just need help from a friend.
You gotta be able to hold somebody's hand.
Yeah! The specific reason we're looking for this hand is because you might have noticed a wide variety of locks that we're interacting with. Some of them are keypad locks, some of them are requiring actual keys, others require obviously the mask. There are also thumbprint locks, and so in addition to the false thumbprint item that we were using earlier, there is a whole hand that we get to use to enter a specific door.
One whole hand, please. It's the essential way to open doors. Remember, that's why people get a little nervous when they say we need your DNA for the courtroom. Is They have to take your whole hand.
Yep. It's the only way to get DNA.
Yep.
Now, gamers, we mentioned earlier that there is a very dangerous hallway. I'm sure that you will understand me when I say this is it. We are also at our final boss, which, for folks that are familiar with Resident Evil, will be a very familiar sight to you. This is a Birkin-inspired eyeball guy. You gotta shoot him a bunch of times, he's really cool. But the specific use of the wheel that is contentious, that we credit MBZ for just destroying this run, normally comes after this boss fight. There is a specific interactable on the wall where you put the wheel. It destroys all the zombies in that hallway who would otherwise just get in your way. On the New Game Plus playthrough, both of them have a high-powered gun, and so we will see who plows through this pack faster, but time will be whenever the time appears on the ground for whoever exits this big door fastest. Gamers, get your hoop in chat. This is it.
This is it.
This is it.
Spicy. Well, we made it.
have died in the hallway.
No! Okay, let's see if Z survives, because this could still be anyone's game.
And time.
Good job, Z.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I think that was 7 seconds off my PB.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
That's
not bad.
very good. I want to point out for folks who are watching Astrid's feed, you might be questioning why she respawned where she did. And the funny thing about this game is that while there is no traditional save room, like a designated place for you to save, there is designated respawn points, and they are exactly where you'd expect them to be, next to the item box. And so if you die after the final boss, you get teleported to the most recent item box you used, which could very realistically be anywhere on the map. When I died on my casual playthrough of this, I got teleported clear across the map and then had to fight through the horde of zombies both ways, and I didn't have the wheel. And so that's why I've never finished this game. But because Astrid and Z are both goddess gamers that are far more talented than I, we get to witness them go very, very fast today. And I'm so glad that we're both here.
And that's time for me.
Congratulations.
Everybody here is so freaking cool. Congrats.
Everyone here
GGs.
is so freaking cool.
That was a really fun run. Where can we find you both?
You can find me on Twitch, Astrid the Horror Girl, and I play horror games and I speedrun horror games, and that's pretty much what I do.
And you can find me on Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube at MBZ. And I also speedrun horror games. It might become a thing. I don't know.
Let it become a thing.
We'll see. We'll see.
Let it become a thing.
And then thank you so much, Big Scared, for commentating for us.
I appreciate you having me again. I really enjoy being on your couch for Heaven Dust and also other games. So thank you for having me.
Always a good time.
Audience, don't worry. I'm not going anywhere. You got me for 2 more runs. So sit tight, buckle up, because we're about to go face first into Clock Tower Block. Stay tuned.